Do you remember when dinner meant something completely different? The 1970s brought us dishes that seemed revolutionary at the time, but have since disappeared from our tables. Today, we're exploring 25 forgotten dinners that once defined American supper time. Let's start with hamburger helper stroganoff. In 1971, this boxed dinner miracle promised working mothers a complete meal in under 30 minutes. Just brown a pound of ground beef, add the magical packet of seasonings and dried noodles, and voila, dinner for four at about 89 cents. The stroganoff variety, with its creamy sauce and hint of paprika, became the top seller by 1973. Betty Crocker marketed it as a helping hand for hamburger, and families embraced the convenience. TV commercials showed happy families gathering around steaming plates while that unforgettable jingle played. By the mid-1980s, changing health consciousness and the rise of fresher convenience foods pushed this boxed staple to the back of pantries. Today's home cooks prefer fresh ingredients, making this once revolutionary dinner helper a nostalgic memory. Tuna wiggle. This Navy-inspired casserole ruled Thursday nights across America. Canned tuna, frozen peas, and cream of mushroom soup got mixed with egg noodles and topped with crushed potato chips. At 45 cents per serving in 1972, it stretched budgets while filling bellies. Housewives passed down their variations. Some added hard-boiled eggs, others threw in canned mushrooms. Church cookbooks featured dozens of versions, each claiming to be the best. The dish got its silly name from the wiggling noodles, delighting kids who might otherwise refuse fish. Military families especially loved it, connecting them to naval traditions. School cafeterias served it monthly, usually to mixed reviews from students. By 1985, concerns about mercury in tuna and sodium in processed foods began its decline. Modern families rarely know this economical classic that once fed millions. Welsh rarebit. Despite its fancy name, this British import was essentially glorified cheese on toast that became a sophisticated dinner option. Sharpest cheddar got melted with beer, mustard, and Worcestershire sauce, then poured over toast points. Upscale restaurants in 1974 charged $4.95 for this continental specialty. Home cooks learned to make it from Julia Child and Graham Kerr. Some versions added tomato slices or bacon, transforming simple ingredients into something special. Men particularly loved making it, as it involved beer and seemed more sophisticated than grilled cheese. Dinner parties featured it as a late-night offering after cocktails. Electric fondue pots often got repurposed for keeping the cheese sauce warm. The dish required attention to prevent the cheese from separating, making it trickier than it appeared. Today's casual dining eliminated such fussy preparations, though some British pubs still serve authentic versions. Chipped beef on toast. Known less fondly as SOS by veterans, this military mess hall standard became a civilian dinner staple. Dried beef got stirred into white sauce and ladled over toast, creating a salty, creamy meal for pennies. In 1970, a jar of dried beef cost 59 cents and could feed a family of 5. Brands like Armour and Hormel dominated grocery shelves with their glass jars. Some families upgraded it with peas or hard-boiled eggs. Pennsylvania Dutch families had eaten it for generations, calling it frizzled beef. The dried beef's intense saltiness meant no additional seasoning was needed. Kids either loved or hated its unique texture and strong flavor. Diners featured it as a breakfast special, though many homes served it for dinner. By the late 1970s, health warnings about sodium and nitrates began turning people away from processed meats. Liver and onions? Thursday night meant liver in millions of homes, whether kids liked it or not. Beef liver cost just 39 cents per pound in 1973, making it an economical protein source. Mothers insisted it was good for you, citing iron content while dousing it in bacon grease and onions. That's right, an entire generation grew up dreading this weekly ritual. Proper preparation meant soaking in milk first, then quick searing to avoid toughness. Some families compromised with chicken livers, which were milder. Restaurants featured liver and onions special nights, complete with mashed potatoes and green beans for $2.99. The smell permeated houses, announcing dinner before anyone reached the kitchen. Fathers often defended it as character building. By 1980, rising meat prices made other proteins competitive, and children who'd grown up hating liver simply stopped buying it as adults. Salmon loaf. Canned salmon transformed into an elegant loaf that graced Sunday tables. Mixed with crackers, eggs, and celery, then baked in a loaf pan, it emerged looking far fancier than its humble ingredients suggested. A can of pink salmon in 1975 cost 89 cents, stretching to feed 6 people. The presentation mattered, unmolded onto a platter and garnished with lemon slices and parsley. Some versions included a creamy dill sauce or cucumber garnish. Pacific Northwest families especially embraced this dish, taking pride in their regional connection. The bones and skin mixed right in, adding calcium, though some diners picked them out. Church potlucks always featured at least 2 versions. Leftover slices made excellent sandwiches the next day. Fresh salmon's availability and affordability in the 1980s made the canned version seem less appealing to newer generations. Tomato aspic. This shimmering molded salad doubled as a dinner side dish throughout the 1970s. Tomato juice, unflavored gelatin, and various seasonings created a savory jellied creation. Suspended inside might be celery, olives, or even shrimp for fancy occasions. In 1972, every proper hostess owned aspic molds in various shapes. The key was achieving the perfect wobble, firm enough to unmold, but tender enough to melt on the tongue. Some recipes added V8 juice for extra vegetable flavor. Presentation required a bed of lettuce and dollops of mayonnaise. Southern ladies particularly excelled at aspic variations, passing down family recipes. Men often looked suspicious when this wiggling red creation appeared on their plates. The time required for proper setting, at least 4 hours, meant planning ahead. Today's preference for fresh over-molded foods ended aspic's wobbly reign. Spam casserole. This canned meat found new life in countless casserole variations during the 1970s. Cubed spam got layered with potatoes, cheese, and cream soup, creating filling dinners from pantry staples. At 69 cents per can in 1974, it offered protein when fresh meat stressed budgets. Hawaiian influence brought pineapple versions, while Midwestern cooks added corn and green beans. The metal key required to open the can became a kitchen drawer staple. Some families fried spam slices as a main course, serving with eggs and hash browns. School lunch programs embraced spam casseroles for their shelf stability. The meat's salty flavor meant recipes needed little additional seasoning. Veterans who'd encountered spam overseas either embraced or avoided these casseroles entirely. By the 1980s, sodium concerns and fresh meat alternatives reduced spam to camping food status. Chicken Devon. This company dinner layered broccoli, chicken, and cheese sauce in elegant presentation. Named after Manhattan's Devon Parisian restaurant, home versions used convenient shortcuts. In 1976, making it meant opening cans of cream soup, frozen broccoli, and packaged chicken. The original recipe's hollandaise got replaced with easier cheese sauce. Topped with breadcrumbs and dots of butter, it emerged golden and bubbling after 30 minutes. Hostesses loved how it could be assembled ahead and refrigerated. The dish seemed sophisticated despite its simple components. Some versions added curry powder, reflecting the era's tentative exploration of exotic flavors. Serving in individual ramekins elevated the presentation further. Restaurant versions cost $6.95, making the home version seem economical. Today's fresh food movement abandons such heavy, processed ingredient combinations for lighter preparations. Stuffed bell peppers. Green peppers became edible bowls filled with ground beef, rice, and tomato sauce. This Depression-era stretcher meal remained popular through the 1970s as an economical family dinner. 4 peppers in 1973 cost about 60 cents, feeding a family with 1 pound of ground beef. The key was parboiling peppers first to achieve proper tenderness. Some cooks added breadcrumbs or oatmeal to stretch the filling further. Ethnic variations reflected changing neighborhoods. Italian versions with oregano, Mexican. Inspired with cumin. The peppers stood upright in baking dishes like colorful soldiers. Kids often ate the filling but left the pepper shell behind. Leftover filling made excellent sandwich spread. School cafeterias attempted stuffed peppers with mixed success. Modern preferences for less cooked vegetables and lighter meals pushed stuffed peppers off regular rotation. Creamed chipped ham. Another military-inspired dish that found civilian popularity, using thin sliced ham in white sauce. Dell's and other brands sold ham specifically for chipping, paper-thin slices perfect for this preparation. In 1971, a quarter pound of chipped ham cost 49 cents at the deli counter. The pink-tinged cream sauce got ladled over biscuits, toast, or waffles. Pennsylvania and Ohio families especially loved this regional specialty. Some versions added hard-boiled eggs or peas for variety. The ham's saltiness meant careful seasoning of the white sauce. Diners featured it as an all-day option, equally at home for breakfast or dinner. Church suppers often included huge pans of creamed chipped ham. The advent of prepackaged lunch meats reduced deli counter visits, and this labor-intensive dish gradually disappeared from home tables. Beef tongue. This organ meat appeared weekly in adventurous households and traditional ethnic families. A whole tongue in 1975 cost about $1.29 and could feed 8 people when sliced thin. The preparation required commitment, simmering for hours, then peeling off the tough outer skin. German and Jewish families especially maintained this tradition. Sliced tongue got served hot with horseradish sauce or cold in sandwiches. The texture, once you got past the appearance, was surprisingly tender. Delicatessens featured tongue sandwiches as premium options. Some families ground leftover tongue for sandwich spread. The cooking process filled homes with a distinctive aroma that announced dinner plans to the neighborhood. Kids often needed considerable encouragement to try it. By 1980, squeamish American palates had largely abandoned organ meats for more conventional cuts. Chicken a la king. This creamy chicken and vegetable mixture supposedly honored King Edward VII, but became democratic dinner fare. In 1974, restaurants served it in patty shells or over rice for $4.50. Home versions used leftover chicken, frozen mixed vegetables, and cream sauce. The addition of pimientos provided color and mild sweetness. Sherry was the secret ingredient in better versions. Some served it over waffles, others in vol au vent pastry shells. The dish seemed elegant enough for company, yet used common ingredients. Cooking schools taught it as a basic technique for using leftovers creatively. Canned versions appeared, but never matched homemade quality. The richness meant small portions satisfied, stretching ingredients economically. Hotel restaurants especially favored this dish for banquets. Today's lighter cuisine preferences retired this cream-heavy classic. Perfection salad. This molded gelatin creation combined cabbage, celery, and peppers in lemon-flavored suspension. Created in 1905 but reaching peak popularity in the 1970s, it appeared at every potluck. Knox Gelatin advertisements promoted it heavily, providing free recipe booklets. The name promised an ideal combination of vegetables in shimmering presentation. Making it required shredding vegetables uniformly for even distribution. The lemon flavor supposedly complemented the vegetables, though opinions varied. Unmolding required confidence and the right technique, a quick dip in warm water. Mayo-based dressing always accompanied each serving. Some versions added carrots for color or nuts for crunch. The preparation time, overnight chilling, meant planning ahead. Its disappearance coincided with fresh salad preferences and suspicion of anything suspended in gelatin. Fried Spam and eggs. Hawaii's influence made this combination a mainland dinner option during the 1970s. Thick sliced Spam got crispy edges from hot skillets, while eggs cooked alongside. At 89 cents for a can, serving 4 in 1976, it stretched protein budgets. The key was slicing Spam thick enough to get crispy outside while staying tender inside. Some families added pineapple rings for Hawaiian authenticity. Rice replaced toast in island-inspired versions. The salty meat paired surprisingly well with eggs' richness. Kids loved Spam's uniform texture and predictable flavor. Camping trips especially featured this easy skillet meal. Military families maintained strong Spam loyalty from overseas postings. Restaurant diners sometimes offered Hawaiian breakfast all day. Modern health consciousness about processed meats ended Spam's mainstream dinner acceptance. Kebabs on casserole. This oven-baked version of kebabs eliminated skewers and grills, making exotic food accessible. Cubed beef, onions, and peppers baked in tomato-based sauce served over rice. In 1973, this seemed daringly international to suburban families. The marinade usually included soy sauce and garlic, adventurous flavors for the time. Some versions added canned mushrooms or water chestnuts for Oriental authenticity. The casserole could be assembled morning and baked after work. Green pepper chunks stayed crispy, providing texture contrast. Magazine recipes suggested serving with pilaf, usually rice aroni, the dish bridge between familiar pot roast and scary foreign food. Company dinners featured this as sophisticated fare. The name promised more excitement than the actual dish delivered. Real Kebabs' popularity in the 1980s made this casserole version seem unnecessarily complicated. Jellied veal loaf. This cold buffet dish represented 1970s dinner party sophistication. Ground veal got mixed with hard-boiled eggs and seasonings, then covered in clear aspic. Sliced thin and served cold, it looked impressive on platters. Making it required 2 days, one for cooking and cooling, another for aspic setting. The clear gelatin coating showed decorative vegetable garnishes suspended like amber. European immigrants especially valued this old-world preparation. Delicatessens sold versions for $3.99 per pound in 1977. The texture combined firm meat with jiggly coating uniquely. Mustard sauce or horseradish accompanied each serving. This was adult food. Kids rarely appreciated its subtle flavors. The time investment meant serving only for special occasions. Modern preferences for hot entrees and suspicion of aspic ended this dish's buffet dominance. Broiled grapefruit main dish. Health-conscious 1970s dieters transformed breakfast grapefruit into dinner entrees. Grapefruit halves got topped with protein, usually cottage cheese or tuna salad, then broiled. Weight Watchers promoted these as satisfying dinners under 300 calories. The broiling caramelized grapefruit's natural sugars while warming the topping. Some versions added artificial sweetener and cinnamon. The combination seemed sophisticated and spa-like. In 1974, grapefruits cost 3 for $1, making this an economical diet dinner. Restaurants offered Slimmer's Specials, featuring broiled grapefruit plates. The tartness supposedly curbed appetite for dessert. Magazine articles promised miraculous weight loss from grapefruit enzymes. Some added maraschino cherries for color, despite the calories. The 1980s understanding of balanced nutrition ended single-food diet dinners. Prune whip dinner. This dessert-turned-dinner appeared in health food restaurants and retirement homes. Stewed prunes got whipped with egg whites and served as a light entree. The natural sweetness meant no added sugar, appealing to diabetics and dieters. In 1972, dried prunes cost 79 cents per pound, making this extremely economical. The consistency resembled mousse when properly whipped. Some versions added cottage cheese for protein. The digestive benefits got emphasized heavily in marketing. Served in parfait glasses, it looked more elegant than it sounds. Restaurants charged $2.95 for this continental health dinner. Nuts or wheat germ provided textural contrast as toppings. The name alone discouraged younger diners from trying it. This represented 1970s health food at its most austere, disappearing as nutrition science evolved. Codfish balls. New England tradition met convenience cooking in these Friday night staples. Salt cod got mixed with mashed potatoes, formed into balls, and deep fried. A box of salt cod in 1975 cost $1.19 and made dozens of fish balls. The soaking and preparation took planning. Salt cod required overnight freshening. Portuguese and Caribbean families maintained stronger traditions than mainstream America. Some used fresh cod, though purists insisted salt cod tasted better. Tartar sauce or vinegar accompanied the crispy spheres. Church suppers especially featured cod fish balls during Lent. The smell of frying fish filled neighborhoods on Fridays. Frozen versions appeared, but lacked homemade texture. Catholic dietary rules relaxing in the late 1970s reduced demand for Friday fish alternatives. Bananas and ham rolls. Sweet-savory combination horrifies modern sensibilities, but thrilled 1970s dinner tables. Ham slices wrapped around bananas, secured with toothpicks, then baked in cheese sauce. Think about that. Fruit, meat, and dairy combined in one dish. Recipe cards from ham companies promoted this aggressively. The bananas softened while ham crisped, creating textural variety. Some versions added curry powder to the cheese sauce. In 1976, this seemed daringly gourmet to suburban cooks. The presentation impressed with its unusual spiral appearance when sliced. Kids either loved or despised the sweet-meat combination. Party buffets featured these as conversation starters. The dish represented era's willingness to combine anything in pursuit of novelty. Today's more refined palates recognize some combinations shouldn't happen. Carrot and raisin salad dinner. Health food stores promoted this raw combination as a complete meal. Shredded carrots, raisins, and sunflower seeds got dressed with yogurt or mayonnaise. The natural foods movement of 1974 insisted this provided complete nutrition. At $1.50 for ingredients serving 4, it appealed to budget-conscious hippies. Some versions added apples or pineapple for variety. The texture required serious chewing, supposedly good for jaw health, served on beds of lettuce with whole grain crackers alongside. Restaurants in Berkeley and Boulder featured this as an entree. The sweetness from raisins meant kids sometimes accepted it. Mainstream America remained skeptical of salad as dinner. The addition of nuts provided protein and crunch. This represented 1970s vegetarianism before sophisticated plant-based proteins existed. Vienna sausage casserole. Those tiny canned sausages became dinner through creative casserole treatment. Layered with pasta, cheese, and tomato sauce, they transformed into Austrian goulash. A can cost 29 cents in 1971, making this extreme budget cooking. The mushy texture got disguised by other ingredients. Some versions added sauerkraut for claimed authenticity. The pull-top cans meant no opener needed, convenient for camping. Kids loved the miniature sausages' uniform size. Creative cooks sliced them lengthwise for fancy presentation. The sodium content would horrify modern nutritionists. Church cookbook committees shared dozens of variations. The casserole stretched one can to feed 6 people, rising prosperity, and food standards improvement eliminated such desperate protein stretching. Pickle and peanut butter sandwiches for dinner. Pregnancy cravings became family dinners in some adventurous households. The combination of dill pickles and peanut butter on white bread got served as a light supper. The sweet, salty, sour combination supposedly hit all taste preferences. In 1978, this cost about 15 cents per sandwich to make. Some added lettuce or cheese for complexity. The crunch of pickles contrasted with creamy peanut butter uniquely. Originated during Depression, but revived during 1970s inflation. Kids often preferred these to more conventional dinners. Some families grilled them like cheese sandwiches. The combination seemed less weird in an era of experimental cooking. Today's food culture embraces unusual combinations, but not for dinner entrees. Mock apple pie dinner. Ritz crackers masquerading as apples became a complete meal in creative households. The crackers, soaked in cinnamon syrup, allegedly tasted like apple pie filling. Served warm with cheese slices, this became a Depression revival dinner. In 1975, a sleeve of Ritz cost 49 cents versus $1.50 for real apples. The recipe appeared on cracker boxes, encouraging experimentation. Some families genuinely couldn't tell the difference when properly spiced. The texture relied on exact timing, too long, and crackers dissolved. Vanilla ice cream sometimes accompanied this dessert dinner. The novelty appealed during hard economic times. Blind taste tests at church socials fooled many tasters. Let that sink in. People ate crackers for dinner and called it pie. Modern abundance makes such substitutions unnecessary. Thanks for joining us on this trip down memory lane, exploring these 25 unforgettable dinners. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and share it with a friend. And don't forget to subscribe.